does Luka need to change?
He's got to be inclusive. He's got to find a way to get others involved. Look, Brunson getting in foul trouble at the beginning of the game was a problem, and Brunson's having a problem scoring over the size right now of the Suns is a problem. But look, Dorian Finney-Smith gets 3 fouls early. Obviously, Brunson gets 3 fouls early. That takes them out of a rhythm. So Luka has to do more. I agree. Someone else has got to step up. Then what he did in the first half, someone else has got to step up and take a little pressure off him. He's got to kind of get rid of the ball a little bit earlier. But they also, I mean, what Jason Kidd didn't address is Luke's got to guard someone. Like they're just putting him in a ball screen and then attacking him. 1.81 points per possession
nuts
in the second half, putting him in ball screen. So, he's got to be better defensively. Coaching is great in the playoffs. I mean, that's the greatest thing about NBA basketball. You watch the playoffs, coaching is great, and people are going to exploit weaknesses. And Luka defensively has become a weakness.
Hey, I completely get that Phoenix is targeting Luka. You're going to make the other team's best offensive player guard defensively to take his legs away from the offensive end, Seth. But at the end of the day, if I'm Luka Doncic and I'm his agent, Bill Duffy, who is with William Morris Endeavor, I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing saying, hey, Jalen Brunson is a good player. He's a guy that he should be a guy that comes off the bench, right? Or I know he's going to end up starting for an NBA team, but he's a guy who's solid each and every night. Spencer Dinwiddie, a decent scorer. I need another superstar in Dallas with me. And if I can't get one, then maybe it's time that I start thinking about other cities that I can be at. And I love Mark Cuban. I think he's one of the most progressive leaders we have in the game of basketball, actually in any sport. But if you trade Kristaps Porzingis, and you're looking at who else is going to be a suitable player next to Luka, I need another all-star next to him so he can get to a point where they're talking about them winning championships, because they look like they got exposed last night for the second game in a row against a really good Suns team that is set up to win a championship.
Look, I can't argue with you, JWill. I mean, every team would like to have 2 guys that absolutely can take over a game. We're seeing it in each and every one of the series. I mean, let's face it. But yeah, I think that's probably they're still their roster's a work in progress. I think they've got the role players in place. Dorian Finney-Smith is going to defend. He's going to be a ball mover. Munson can get in the lane some. Brunson, I should say. They need another player, but they also probably, when they get that next guy, JWill, he's going to have to change a little bit. As good as Luka is, he's going to have to change a little bit. The ball can't get stuck because they end up a lot of times with 4 guys watching one, and the first half was a joke. I mean, it was a joke. The shots he was making, the plays he's making, his footwork, his fearlessness. But you get another superstar, and that superstar is going to hold him accountable to check people also. Look, I love his game. I mean, it's old school, tough, physical. He's so strong. He's so patient. But I go back to, they do it. I agree with you. They need another superstar or another guy that he can rely on going to get in 2022. But he's got to check someone, man. I mean, because in the second half, they wore him out. And that was great. That was great coaching, let's face it. How do you defend Luka Doncic? You make him defend every single possession, and you wear him down. That's what happened in the second half.
The coach, Seth Greenberg, ESPN basketball analyst, joining us this morning on Keyshawn, JWill, and Max. Coach, enough about the Mavericks, right? We keep talking about what they need to do and all this and that. How about giving the Suns some love? How good are the Suns? Is this their year to get it done with Chris Paul or not?
Chris Paul, man. Whew. I mean, Chris Paul and Ayton's improvement offensively especially. I mean, Ayton coming out, run the floor, but he's catching.
Defensively, they gave him the business last night, though, too. Luka got the business.
Yeah, but I look at Chris Paul. He's 37 years old. He's going right. I'm telling you, he's going right.
Nothing you can do about it.
They tried to keep him left, and he made a couple of plays going to his left hand. But his ability to make plays for everyone, his ability, a couple of years back, I thought he lost a step. He couldn't finish a game off. He didn't shoot from 3. I didn't think he had his legs. Man, was I wrong. I mean, come on, man. I mean, like what he's doing right now, there he is pulling up, going left, is unbelievable. No one reads the floor better than Chris Paul. JWill, can you remember a guard that sees all 5 defenders in every situation better than Chris Paul?
No, Seth. You know what the thing about him is, too? And Key made mention of this the other day, and I've always known it. We just never articulated it as much. The dude gets to his right hand every time.
It's unbelievable.
In every ball screen, he finds a way to get that ball in his right hand, and that's what he makes a play with. But it's unstoppable because his precision and his awareness is off the charts.
And that little sidestep he has where he just creates a little bit of space. It's not a step back. It's a kind of a sidestep to create separation. And then he keeps it just the right amount of time if he wants to throw the lob or he wants to skip it. And the other thing is they can play off of Chris Paul, the Suns. They also can play off their sets and getting Booker in the action where he's coming off those wide pin downs. Like there'll be a dribble handoff, a ball screen. Paul will be going one direction, and all of a sudden Booker will come off a wide pin down and knock down a jumper. And he's become such a tough matchup.
If Chris Paul wins the championship, I think about like if Larry Brown could design a point guard, right? It would be Chris Paul. Perfect. Like that's exactly what you're looking for. If he wins a championship, considering how well-rounded he is as a point guard, where does he? Let's take Magic out of this. He's like 6'8" and the best ever, right? Is that the best you've seen as a pure point guard? If he adds the championship feather in his cap, it's still playing at an incredible level?
I'm not bringing Bob Cousy into the conversation.
Yeah, right.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
He is unique in that he's a new wave best point guard in eliminating Magic because I call them ball guards. Mm-hmm. Listen, in the old days, a point guard was a facilitator. Right. Let's face it. A point guard was a guy that came off ball screen, read defender, make a play. Was advance the ball in transition, pass the ball on time, on target, got you into your sets. Chris Paul, in the flip of a switch, all right, is going to drop 30. Like, all right, John Stockton was a perfect example of a guy that he got the ball anywhere he wanted, anytime he wanted, to who he needed to get the ball. Chris Paul can drop 30. And that's the thing, that his evolution at his age, to me, is unbelievable. Here's a bigger question, all right? They win it all, and who knows? How many more years does he go? Is he like Tom Brady?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.